Welcome back. It's time for the Roundtable. This week, we wanted to focus on one issue of constant concern to businesses throughout the Washington region, transportation. Join us today with the latest on some top projects from the Silver Line to the fastest way out of town. Two top experts from our region, Martin Caro, the man who keeps us all informed on the latest developments, controversies, and commuter headaches as the transportation reporter for WAMU Radio. And Dan Papiernik, Associate Vice President at HT&B Corporation. He's involved in the implementation of the 495 and 95 express lanes, as well as a number of other hats he wears at the company. Gentlemen, thank you to you both for joining us. Martin, let's start with you. You have been covering the Silver Line since its birth and reporting on all the different problems. As you reported, numerous construction and technical mistakes. Finally, it's been turned over to Metro, but the contract team led by Bechtel and subcontractor Alstrom had everything from failing signaling computers to fire alarm speakers that weren't code. Why should riders feel like even once it's open, they're going to be safe on the Silver Line?
Well, safety has never really been the big issue there. It's been reliability, right? These bobbing track circuits and some of the other issues with RTUs, which is a technical term. It's the communication link between the tracks and Metro Central Control. Those problems have been rectified to Metro's satisfaction, but they're going to be continued to be worked on ongoing basis even after Metro opens the Silver Line, and they hope to have the line open this summer, possibly late July, early August. So the contractor, this project was supposed to be handed to Metro, done, no problems. Of course, we know that's not the case. So Metro and the Airports Authority, which was building it with their contracting team led by Bechtel, came to an agreement about a month ago. Okay, if we can get these problems rectified to Metro's satisfaction, we can at least hand the project off to them. They can begin their final testing phase, which is now underway, and within 90 days, open it to passenger service while those other problems continue to be worked on. They have temporary fixes in place now. They're going to have permanent fixes later.
But as you report, Alstom, which is the company that also was responsible for the Red Line when we did have that horrible accident in 2009. That was a signaling problem. This is a problem with what you report is the ATC, the Automated Train Control System. So this is a problem of trains stopping when they shouldn't, rather than trains not stopping. But that still doesn't engender a lot of confidence.
Well, the last thing Metro and passengers want to deal with are more delays. Now, of course, Metro has enough trouble keeping its regular trains they have now running on time. So when the Silver Line opens, they don't want these bobbing track circuits, which is a link between the Silver Line and the Orange Line. That's where the problem is, right? So they don't want trains to stop and then have to be, not pushed through, but have people on the ground along the wayside stations have to make sure there's an all clear before they can get the train moving again. They don't want those type of reliability problems when the Silver Line opens.
And neither do businesses and neither do riders.
So they have a temporary fix for that problem moving forward, and Metro's confident that once the Silver Line opens, there won't be that hitch where the silver connects to orange.
We're keeping an eye on that. Dan, let's talk to you. Among the many hats you wear at your company, you've helped with the implementation of the express lane, something that was a top priority for the business community. 95, I understand there's going to be some major construction this summer, so be prepared up in the Fredericksburg area. But then express lanes all the way north and will be completed by when?
Well, they're hopeful they'll be able to complete everything by the end of this year. And so they're looking at an opening early next year. And frankly, once that comes online, that will actually be a great addition to the 495 Express Lanes project, which has been operating now for well over a year. And as we all know, started off a little bit slow. I think there's a bit of a learning curve for a lot of folks in this area to get used to how express lanes operate, frankly. But I think they've seen some improvements and some positive growth.
Well, one of your areas of expertise is the viability of toll roads. So is the toll the problem? Is the learning curve the problem? Or what would you say has been the cause of motorists being slow to adopt the hot lanes?
I think for the most part, it's actually been the complexity of this system. It is a multi-segmented, dynamically priced tolling system, which is a lot of words to describe a system that frankly is new to this area. It's one in which excess capacity from an HOV perspective is paid for by single occupant users who get the privilege of using those lanes by paying a fee that is determined by the volume of cars that are in the lanes at the time.
how would you grade it in terms of how, obviously, we know you're a little biased, but in terms of how well it's working so far, what kind of grade would you give it, and where do improvements still need to continue?
I think in terms of the measure, each toll road is kind of unique. We have an expression in our industry that is, once you've seen one toll road, you've seen one toll road. It's hard to compare from time to time, but certainly from the implementation and some of the adjustments they've made, I would give them, a strong B. And I think things will improve as they move forward and implement the I-95 express lanes as well.
Martin, I want you to weigh in on that, and then I want you to take us to streetcars, because there's controversy over streetcars in both Virginia and D.C. So first, weigh in on the express lanes, and then tell us where we stand with streetcars.
Well, the 495 express lanes lost $51 million last year, and one of the problems is, in addition to some driver confusion, the traffic in the regular purpose lanes is not bad enough of the time to have people pay any money to want to go to express lanes.
It may feel bad, though. People complain about it all the time.
Yeah, well, during rush hour, that corridor is terrible, but on weekends, why would you even pay a quarter if, you're driving late at night on the weekend or early in the morning? If there's no traffic in the regular purpose lanes, why would you pay to use an express lane? So it lost $51 million last year, and they've gone through a refinancing. Transurban, the company that operates the toll lanes, they've already had to refinance the project, so it's worth keeping an eye on.
Worth keeping an eye on. And now, update us on streetcars. We could spend a whole show just on the controversies engulfing streetcars in both Virginia and D.C., but where do things stand on both projects?
All right, well, so the H Street Benning Road corridor is supposed to open this year, maybe late summer, maybe early fall. That's 2.5 miles from Union Station to the end of Benning Road.
Business is waiting a long time for that.
Yeah, and that would led to something that happened with the D.C. Council this week. I mean, the DDOT's had so many problems managing that project. They've had delays. They're still in operational testing right now. So the D.C. Council decided to take the Gray administration's plan and scale it back.
So Gray asked for $800 million. He was an original skeptic. Now he embraces streetcars fully. He wanted $800 million. Phil Mendelssohn said what?
$400 million over the next 6 years. And they changed the funding formula so there'll be less money set aside in future years to pay for streetcar expansion. DC wants a 22-mile priority network and then an eventually 37-mile network. So critics of Phil Mendelssohn's move say, you've basically gutted the future of this program. The council says they can put the money back later if
Phil Mendelssohn says, prove it. If you can manage it well, manage it better than you have so far, we'll give you the money back. But until we see that better management, we're not giving you the money. Only about 20 seconds left.
Okay.
I know it takes more than that to talk about the future of Columbia Pike streetcars, but what's your best guess? Is it going to happen?
Well, there's still a majority on the Arlington County Board that supports the project. There is a question, though, of how they're going to pay for it. They need to go to the federal government again under the New Starts program after failing with their application through the Small Starts program.
So many things to have you both back on to discuss. Thank you both for joining us, and stay with us. We'll be right back.